What terrifies you most of all after the 9/11? I mean, Osama bin Laden, who symbolized the Islamic fundamentalism and terrorism, is dead. Does the terrorism has any face now?
The new face of terrorism is decentralized, diffuse action by small groups and individuals all over the world. The Boston Marathon bombing is the new face of McWorld. Two former residents of Kazakhstan living in the United States for a long time, one a citizen, acting by themselves in the name of a vague ideology and a sense of anger and resentment, causing a terrorist incident. Increasingly, terrorism is decentralized. It's not connected to any nation. It's not even connected directly to Al-Qaeda or other terrorist organizations. It tends to be the work of individuals who are incited by global ideology, but moved and motivated by personal resentment, personal humiliation, and personal anger. So the dangerous thing about terrorism today is that it's highly decentralized, highly individualistic, and therefore hard to predict and hard to control.
Okay, I see. And how do you think? Are there more important threats besides terrorism?
Terrorism is made by the media into a much larger threat than it really is. In the United States, far more people die from people who own guns and shoot each other than die from terrorism, for example. So gun control is a very large issue here. It's actually more important than terrorism. As I mentioned before, global warming is a universal problem which we will not survive as a human race unless we control. It's far more important than terrorism. The proliferation of nuclear weapons, and North Korea and Iran and others getting nuclear weapons, is far more dangerous and risky than terrorism. So my own view is that while terrorism is obviously important and we have to deal with it, there are many other bigger issues that are not so sexy and not so important to the media that actually warrant more attention than we give them.
Okay, and how do you think who should manage with the problem of terrorism? I mean, mayors or maybe states. How do you think? Which mechanism do they have?
Well, there's no single solution. There's obviously states and state intelligence agencies are involved. But what we have learned is that there is a lot that cities can do through cooperating with one another, through sharing urban intelligence with one another, through police surveillance and police cameras and other cameras. There's a lot that cities can do to both anticipate terrorism and to catch terrorists once terrorist acts are committed. So it's not that one is better than the other, but for a long time, I think most people thought that fighting terrorism was a state function, a sovereign state function, a national security apparatus function, and it's become apparent that cities, city intelligence, city oversight, city police departments, city intelligence units have a very large and important role to play. It's not more important than states, but it's a very important complementary role. There's a lot that cities can do in addition to what states do.
Okay, and maybe the last one question. When we can expect your new book, If Mayors Rule the World, will be published? Is there any date or?
Yes, it will be published in September in the United States, and it will be published in German and French and Polish and other editions later in the fall or early in the winter. It'll be out, though, in the U.S. in September, and then in the next 3, 4, 5 months, it will be available in foreign editions, in Polish editions, German editions, French editions, and so on. And it will, one last thing, I am giving a TED Global talk in Edinburgh on the book, and that talk will be on YouTube and on the global internet, available to everybody everywhere as an introduction to the themes of the book. So I'm doing a TED Global in Edinburgh, and it will be on the web in the summer.
Okay, great. Thank you. Great to know it.